welcome to my channel. Thanks for joining me. In today's video, after that lovely walk through an ancient coppice, we're going to disturb a pigeon. We're going to take a look at some ancient coppice, some in, well, most of it in woods that I look after. So if you see the same trees, repeated, they are summer and winter, so you get an idea of summer or winter and what the ground's like and everything. And just generally have a look. I'm not going into why coppice or anything like that. We're just having a look at some trees. And so before I go on, if you'd like to subscribe and hit the bell, that would really help out. Let's go. I'm standing in a big area of very old coppice. And the reason I'm doing this now is to show you it in summer. There's one, there's another one, and behind that there's another one, and another, and up on there there's another. Behind that hazel that you can see in the forefront there's one, then in the background there is another. They're all over here. It's very difficult to see in the summer, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring you here in the winter and we'll go and have a look at them. If you look at these, look at that. This may go on a piece about coppiced ash, but all these trees that we're looking at in there, look how big their bases are. That's all coppiced ash. Obviously they stopped doing it many years ago, but that's ancient trees for sure, and they are incredible. They really are incredible. You have to come here and you feel it. But there's, I'm not sure what that is, that might be field maple that's been coppiced too. And there's another one behind. And you have beauties like this, where obviously that used to have that was a double stemmed oak that's collapsed. But there are loads in here. Now, if you watch a lot of my channels, I've got more than one, you will probably notice me getting really excited when I go into anywhere that's got ancient trees in. I can't help it, it just happens. I don't even know that sometimes that these places have ancient trees until I'm in there and I can feel it. This place is amazing, I have to say. You could probably get quite lost in here, and one day I will come in here in moonlight, provided we get moonlight without cloud cover. And here we can see some old stools from coppice that didn't last. And there's some younger growth from that. That's because what happens is, over time, if it's not continually coppiced, the branches are left, the stems that do appear are left to grow and grow. They get bigger and bigger and bigger until the weight of them leaning forces the bole apart. Now the bole is this bit. And these are obviously the newer stems, which were probably last coppiced maybe end of the First World War, I guess. Okay, now I don't want to build this up too much, but even I'm here. I've gone really tingly. This is a hell of a wow moment. This is a fucking ancient tree. This tree I'm standing in front of that you can't see yet, this is a very old Coppice ash. I mean, I can't even explain just how. In fact, there's another one above it. Well, without further ado, meet one of the oldest ash trees in this wood, or one of the oldest ash trees in this wood. Look at the size of that. Now, I'm guessing that's what you can see from side, the furthest left to furthest right. I'm guessing, and I'm pretty good at measurements, that's easily 3 meters. Isn't that incredible? And there's the stems going up. But clearly it was a coppice. I mean, there's even this one still growing out of it. And here's an example of size. That's a little bit smaller than 2 of my fingers, and my fingers are quite big. And look, let's take you up around this side. Wow. I mean, that is just a mega coppice. And this is quite an exciting place I've just found, because look. And if you've seen some of my previous videos, you know how excited I get over those. And up here, there's another one that I know we're at a distance. It's not quite as big, but it's still, well, if we get nearer. I mean, that's still pretty massive. Look, there's a fence post. That gives you an idea of its size. With the last 3 of its coppice left to have grown. I think there's some more through there. Let's see, whereabouts are we? What's that? That's that one. So, yeah. About the middle of the frame there. Behind where all the ivy's going up there. But hard to see from here. But yeah. So there you go. There's a view of the one we've just looked at from above, or view from above. And it does go on up. And continuing the theme of ancient ash coppice, and I mean ancient. Look at this one. Look how wide that is. I am standing less than 2 meters from the nearest bit of it, and I can just get it in the shot. And if we go round, you can see I mean, look at it. Stunning. Very hard to get those brambles from in there, but I don't think came round this far. But I'll have to do it. I mean, look at it. As you can probably tell if you watch my channel often. Oh look, someone shoved a mattress down there. Oh well. But yeah, look at that. That is quite a size. And it's not the only one, we've seen those two. I think there's probably more, but here's another. Look at that. When each one of those uprights has got to be 100 years, hasn't it? Surely. So we're looking at Middle Ages. I mean, I don't know, even further back. Let's see if we can get up here. Told you, if you see me, like I said, if you listen regularly, watch regularly, you'll know I work in very slopey places. I mean, look at that. That's the view down the hill. There's the camera straight looking out. That's yeah, that's horizontal. So you can see the slope. I mean, right down there is the stream that's in an earlier video. Isn't that incredible? And such a lovely mossy skirt round it. And there's one up in there. I'm not going to try and get close to that one because that's a bit of a blackthorn thicket to go through. So there's one, and I've just noticed here, look at that, they really are beautiful, aren't they? So this is a field maple coppice. Sorry about knocking you on the tree there. So hard to get round and get a good circle view of it. There we go, fantastic. And here's another one. This is a field maple. If you need the Latin for that, it's Acer campestre. Again, that looks like it could have been a coppice at some point. I don't know. I don't know. That's a blank in my knowledge, knowing what a coppice... Oh! Guess what I've seen? Oh, I nearly trod on them. Look. And there's the tiniest one I've seen so far. Oh wow. Now that has made my day. Even though I've seen some amazing things and got some great footage. Yeah, so I don't know why they do that. Some more. Once, I don't know, about 5 years ago, this whole bank, all the way along, all the way from the end, right the way round, right the way down, way past there, where it disappears, just round past there is an interesting point that I'll talk about another time. But and it went further on. My video of the stream, well, that whole stream, it was full of scarlet elf cups all the way along. I mean, we're talking possibly hundreds of thousands. There were that many. But from here, see, this is what they like. This is perfect. Look, wet wood, decaying by water. They love it. There's a whole load there. And then there's more on here. I was hoping to see, you know, thousands, but there is a place I could go and check out, but it's not near here. Wow, it's nice. And they were also on the ground as well around here, but they like I say, they like wet woodland. And certainly, once the stick has gone black, whatever the stick is, if it's gone black, they can be on it. I don't know if they make it black, or it's that stage of decay that then encourages them to turn up. I don't know. One in there. They just appear all over the place. It's that one. Oh, I like it. It's exciting. Oh! See how much I like these things. They're incredible. Look at all these. Loads in there. And there's a big one here, if I can get to it. It's a bit of a... Oh. Yeah, it's worth getting in there for. And the way they grow with the moss around, I don't think I've seen any that haven't grown with moss. So yeah, a few dozen is better than none at all. Right, back up the hill. So what we're looking at here is freshly coppiced, and that'll have been done last year or sometime this spring. So this is less than a year old, and if you can see in the distance, that's coppice that's been done slightly earlier, so that might even be just a year's growth. I'd like to show you, or to give you a little tour of some of the oldest trees in this wood that I'm in a lot. Well, there's one that's quite old. See that, 4 stems. And I'm guessing each one of those is getting on for 100 years. Possibly the back one older than that, but the whole bowl of the stump, I wouldn't like to estimate, because I would say it's not older than 200 years old. With some of the, like with the 4 stems, that indicates it was cut at an early stage and has regrown 4 stems. It might have grown more to start with, but those 4 are the ones that have survived, and the biggest one of which is probably 100, maybe 120, judging by the size. But, you know, I could be wrong. This here, this is a field maple, Acer campestre. As you can see, it's got a really wide base. All those stems coming up are newer shoots. Now, I'm not sure how old that would make it, but I'm guessing that that's easily 200 years maybe. Now here's another one. I'm guessing this is easily 300 years old, and as you can see from the newer stems here, that they're probably 100 years old, which indicates to me that the last time that this was coppiced was around the First World War. Another ash tree here. As you can see, this is quite big. Someone's put a mattress in there, which is quite sad. I'll have to clear that out one day. But I do like metal going back into the land. Yeah, so here's another one. So you can see that's quite wide as well. And again, I'm guessing 300 years. Might even be older than that. Now here is a monster. Now that is huge. If we're going on the others, I mean, I would have to guess, if I was guessing going on the others and the size of other trees I've seen, this is over 500 years old. That's how old that one is. And at the back there, let's see if I can see it. Very hard to get in there, but there's another one there. Maybe able to get to it better here. And there's another one of similar age. Now all along this ridge there are some that well, I won't bother filming today because it's too far to get to, but it's along here. There's another one through in there, as you can see, just under. Let's take you through. These two trees explain the presence of ancient woodland, indicating plants like yellow archangel that are here. And here are another two. These are both field maples, which is interesting. I mean, look how big that one is. But I have to be honest and say that I don't know what they would have been coppiced for. That's something I need to find out. If anyone knows, please leave a comment, because I'm really interested in that. I know what most things are used for, or were used for, but field maple is not one of them. Some of them are quite big. That one's probably about getting on for 2 meters across at points. So its widest point is probably 2 meters across. That means it's pretty old. Now, for anyone who doesn't know, the idea of coppice is you cut the trees, all the stems, all what would turn into trunks. You just cut them down to a certain distance from the ground at a certain point in time. So, you know, if you want 3 or 4 inch poles, which back years ago would have been useful for so many things, and still would be today if we used them, And so what you do is you cut at a certain point every 10 years or whatever it is, and that keeps the tree going because it doesn't get massive. The problem comes, and as you can see in here, there'll be I'm just looking for one now, they will split apart. So here's an example here. So this was probably done, and at some point that will split in the middle and then rot will set in. But this is what happens if you don't maintain the Coppice program. And I look at lots of Coppice areas, and the one thing I notice is most of the stems, whether they're ash or, well, usually the ash I'm going by, but there's hazel and field maple, it looks like the ash hasn't been cut for around 100 years, which would take that to the First World War. And that would figure with the amount of young deaths, men dying in the trenches, no one to carry on doing the coppice, so it stopped. And I think that's the reason. This is all my own research. Now, for those of you who don't know, this is an example of what happens with coppice. Now, the thickest stems, these, probably should be cut out because to keep the tree going, because what will happen is they will get bigger and bigger, longer and longer, heavier and heavier, and they'll split out the middle. And I'll show you what happens in a minute. But when you coppice it, you end up with a tree that has just poles like this that get slowly bigger until they're a size that they can be used. So let's show you what happens when coppicing doesn't get carried on. Here's the centre of or the bowl, as it were, and that is indeed what happens. That will fill up with water and slowly rot out the centre, as well as it happening from below and where some stems have come off before. This is one that's clearly been a double stem and has split apart, and this one's quite an old one. And as you can see, I reckon those stems are probably 100 years old, maybe a bit over. Now here, this is what I was saying. Look at this, split open, rotten in the middle, and again rotten in the middle. Gets too heavy, a wind blows it over. And here's a really interesting one. Sadly, it's got ash dieback, so I think it's marked to be cut. So this is going to disappear, but you can see how old that was. That's just half of it, I think. The other bit has fallen off a long, long time ago.